Hello world. Chicken baby says hi. Chicken baby. Yeah. She's chatty. She's in a good mood though. There's all the different types of meows. We're just getting herself a little kitty cat bath. Okay. Well, finally got coffee and drank a lot of water. With my second coffee. Had some chocolate even. Not mad about it. And I don't ever hardly drink, but you know what? I did also treat myself to one nice cold beer. Poured one out for Blackie, poured one out for this apartment. Here we are. So, I was gonna do a reading outside because it was the perfect evening. And I don't know, sometimes I just get on the walking and couldn't stop. So now we're back home. But one thing I really heard and saw while I was walking is that for some of you, you're going through some stuff, and it's the type of stuff that no one can really help you with. You know, those real good shit-stained kind of moments where it's bad, but like no one really knows how to help you. And there will be those moments in life. But yeah, what I just really kept seeing and hearing, it's about when you're scared, it's nice to have someone to just be with you. Like, I don't know if y'all have ever had to have medical, physical procedures, you know, that are scary. If you've had a big operation, or even going to the dentist, I've had a lot of teeth pulled. And for some people, the dentist isn't very scary. For some people, it's like highly traumatic. It's like a real thing. But what I'm seeing is collective. It's like sometimes in life, there are just things that are beyond the scope. I talk about this a lot. And because we're human, we do what we do. We reach out, we look for answers, we look for solace, we look for connection, we look for deeper meaning. And a lot of times this is where humans can be really disappointing. You're always going to have what's called the trail angels, where the right people show up just as you need them. But a lot of times when you're going through some real devastation and you're scared, and yeah, I'm seeing like a real being scared. And all of this is to say is that sometimes what's really required is it's not about having someone having the answers for you or being able to provide, a clear, direct way out. A lot of times, and at least in my own experience, I say this for my own experience and also love language type, a lot of times people just want to be heard. It's about being a container to just listen. Everyone wants to be seen and everyone wants to be heard, but especially being heard, especially because when you're going through really devastating things, and this is why hearing your story and other people's stories is really important, because exactly, chicken baby, we're all going to go through our own very personal things, and there's going to be a lot of the world that can't relate to it, but there will be people who've gone down very similar paths and will understand exactly your experiences. You know, they'll use the same words to describe it. They understand the nuance. So, yeah, it's just like having a hand literally reach out, and grab you and pull you up. And also like to keep counsel with you. Like really what I'm seeing is just like in your scariest, darkest moments, like just to have a person sit beside you and hold your hand. They may not be able to literally do anything else other than to just sit with you to keep counsel. And we forget a lot of times that like really simple things can be life-changing for people. Again, you don't have to have the solutions, but just holding space, just listening for someone, to be a container. You don't have to have the solutions. You just need to listen and then try to understand what someone is saying to you. If it sounds like it's been a really terrible time, you can just say like, wow, that sounds incredibly difficult and really hard, just to be able to echo back to someone, to be like, I hear you and I see you. And I may not have all the answers, but just like how a dog will sleep by its owner's spot that it used to, or, or a dog will travel to the graveside, like it's about keeping counsel to sit by you. So no matter what happens, you won't be alone. Well, come over here then. Come lie closer so I can give you some pets. She's on our little cat bed over just right there. So, even though this is a tarot channel, let me just extend an energetic extension of sometimes even tarot, like it's not about the solution. Sometimes it's about, again, how we show up for one another. Yeah. A lot of times in my darkest moments, they were incredibly dark just because no one was there. And it wasn't necessarily about having solutions, but if someone could have just been like, I got your back. I don't know what the solution is either, but I'm going to sit with you. So, let's make this reading tonight a bit of a container for that. Sometimes you're just not supposed to know, but it is always nice to have someone be by your side in your darkest moments. And that's why, to be honest, I miss my kitties. Well, I got Chicken Baby here. She's a lover. She teaches me a lot about love. But Blackie, yeah, for me it was always animals. Have been with me in my darkest moments. So, on that note, you're probably thinking to yourself, I know Mariko finished that other book. I wonder if he's up to reading something else. Well, thanks for asking. I am. This one's another real hard one. The Anti-Romantic Child, a memoir of unexpected joy. I like the 10,000 joys, the 10,000 sorrows kind of stories, Going back to seeing your story reflected, my life has been nothing but extremes. Like real out there kind of stuff. So for me, I've always looked to people who've also lived a life. Because also, guys, like, who are we kidding? Like, this is a woo-woo tarot card channel. And as much as I'm woo, I'm very practical. I'm a real salty man of the earth. And yes, I do believe in a lot of things. Ultimately, I believe in love. But that being said, there is a lot of dangers around woo-woo community, how we articulate and intimate things. Because sometimes it's not as simple as just, if you can dream it, you can live it. Like, yes, but also, I don't know, we got some real life political stuff happening, like the intersectionality of like racism and social inequality, and I don't know, the 1%'s hatred of poor people and people of color and women and children and I don't know, queers. Like, there's always a divisiveness, and there's very real systems in place systemic oppression. So sometimes it's actually not as easy as just dreaming yourself out of a hellish nightmare, right? And there's a lot of us who have a lot of privilege right now, and there's a lot of us that don't. So, all that to be said, I have a lot of love in my heart tonight. There's a lot of feelings in there. I feel like that's when I feel love the most, is when I have all the feelings. Oh, I guess that's part of the message. Yeah, I've been really noticing that I feel the most alive when in my heart I have all the feelings at once. All the feelings of gratitude, all the feelings of grief, all the feelings of hopelessness, all of the feelings of joy and of hope. Like, do you know what I mean? When it's the full mixed bag and it's got a bunch of crazy flavors all at once. And that's how I currently feel. I have all the feelings in my heart right now. In my own life and for the collective. Because really, where does one end and one begin? You know, I really took the Bodhisattva vow at such a young age of my life without fully feeling the weightiness of such a vow, to continuously come back to liberate all. I don't know. The world is just such an interesting time, and the more I see how the micro and the macro, I talk about a lot on here, guys, I just can't. It's so hard for me to not continuously be looking inside and then looking outside to be like, how do we get out of here? And how do we heal this? And there's so much beauty, you know? There's just so much beauty. Yet in the same moment, I could just weep. And that's how I know I'm really here. Really here, really alive, really present. And how are we going to continue to show up for each other? You know? Like, what are we going to do if YouTube goes down? Because governments shut down the internet. It sounds a little bit conspiracy theory, but to be honest, I'm sure there'll be a point where the internet is taken out. Yeah, just simple. I was watching a man at the bus stop tonight. I love when I catch adults being a version of their kid self. He was at the bus stop and he was eating one of those like jawbreaker suckers that has the gum in the middle. And I watched him diligently bypass licking straight into strategically picking a spot that he'd licked down just enough, not to do the whole thing, but just to like get to the gum part. And then I just saw him, I don't know, he was just like a man in his 30s who all of a sudden was like, I could just see the little boy in him. And now that it's summer and all the people are in the parks, I don't know. I don't know, folks. 14 minutes, haven't pulled a card. Do I want to pull a card? I do. I feel like I've already talked too long. Okay, well, Let's pull some cards, but let's give thanks. Thank you for this day. Thank you for my life. Oh, thank you for everything. Most of all, thank you for my son. Give thanks to the collective, to all those in the world, including the people that we all judge. Because every single one of us, we all judge. And we all think we're right, for the most part. So, because we're all in this together, I'm going to pray for all of us, including the stinky ones. Oh, may all of our hearts just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Big love. That's what I want. If there's to be any violent act, I want it to be the violent act of all of those that have had their hearts taken out. May all those hearts be freshly put back in so we can all remember what divinity is. Our divinity. Divinity will be returning to love. And it's hard to know what love is if you haven't experienced love. I get that. But it does exist, and it can find you in any place, at any time. And that is my prayer for this earth. That everyone in their darkest moments may love and kindness and grace always find you. So we ask that the collective, the world, and everyone that the collective and the world loves may be all kept safe from all accident, injury, harm, violence, evil, ill intention. Yeah, I just always keep picturing, you know, when you laugh with your best friend or like your favorite person, like that's what I want, for everyone to know real good food in the belly, that no one knows starvation, that everyone has access to clean water, because so many of us don't, and that everyone can go to bed feeling safe. And know true friendship, like real love, the unconditional kind, and laughter from the guts. All right, thank you, water. Okay. Well, it's also Kimmy K, my favorite Kimmy K, Kim Cran's favorite artist, witch, human, just inspiring. She does a lot of decks, but like is really a multidisciplinary artist. Took a leap of faith, started to get into just, I think on her birthday, which is I believe today, is doing like an improv comedy thing. Like she just puts herself out there. Just fucking delightful. So we're sending so many bezos and love to Kim. Now, I do have the box of tarot cards right here. Let's start with the little green witch, and then we'll go into a little Kimmy K deck in celebration of this great artist. Continues to give. But I do love the plants, so let's get a little... Oh man, my allergy's gonna go berserk right now. We'll see. Okay. All right, cards. Gotta really give it to the collective. There's a real feeling in the air. There's a real feeling in the air. So we need, you know what? We need a little more smoke here. We need the sage. Just get a little on the third eye here. Just a whisper. Ooh, that felt excellent. Can't recommend it enough. Okay. All right, cards. I'm feeling 4. Feeling and I'm seeing 4. Ooh, chamomile. Gentleness, relaxation, sleep. I can attest to that one. I've been sleeping like a real mofo. Allergies make me tired, but I've also just needed it. Sage! There we go. Yeah, old Sage. Wisdom, purification, harmony. We got it burning right now. Love this. And when I was at my Greek store, they had chamomile. I was looking at it. They had it in the Greek letters and name, but I was able to identify it immediately. So, like, we're locked in, guys. Chamomile, great nervine, great for the nerves. Hearth, safety, comfort, spirit. Yeah, there's a real feeling of someone needs to be. Again, I'm a parent, guys, so it's really just my go-to. I just feel this need to, like, it's comfort. Someone needs a mom or a dad or a grandma, an abuela, or even a grandpa, uncles, aunties. Someone needs that. The adult, the person to be like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I got you. Yeah, gentleness, relaxation, sleep, wisdom, purification, harmony, safety, comfort, spiritual connection. Okay. All right, cards. Well, you know what? I think we need, well, let's just, here, what do we need? Preserve, security, forethought, yeah, security, safety, gentleness. Sorry, here, let me show you this. A cute little chipmunk. Oh, the best pickled onions ever. Oh, yeah, Nat's rum peaches. Ooh, maybe some of you are named Nat. Got jam. Oh, man, I just ate all of my homemade sauerkraut. Wasn't made by me, it was made by my friend. And delicious. Preserves are where it's at. Harvest, determination, hard work. Okay, one more. Oak tree, love it. That's my tree. Power, courage, and strength. I kind of feel like you're in this harvest energy because what they're showing me with the harvest, it's also the time of year. So it's really that October energy, like the fall. And you have, what's its nuts right there? Oh, I've used it too in farming. You know. And then I also see what looks like the moth wing. Yeah, there's a real sense of like death and ending, but also harvesting. But with harvest comes the end to something. Preserving what's left is what I'm hearing. Yeah, there's such a need here for, yeah, all of these keywords: gentleness, relaxation, sleep. And also going back to like having someone sit with you. Like I feel like when you know that someone has your back, or you know when you're sick, yeah, I'm getting a lot of like kind of medical stuff, to be honest. It doesn't have to be, but it's like a great example of like, especially if you don't like hospitals or you don't like medical stuff, like being left alone in a hospital, if if you're in your hospital bed, or again, there's procedures. If you're all by yourself, it's very scary. The medical system is very cold. Not a lot of great bedside manner, to be honest. Not always the case. I've met tons of lovely doctors and nurses, but I'm sure we can all attest that there have been times, including my friends who are nurses and doctors, who have spoken about being on the other side and being like, oh, it was a great lesson in bedside manner because, yeah, anyway. And just like the hearth, yeah, there's something about like an environment that's like warm and cozy, so that no matter what's happening, it's like you're okay. Yeah, preserving. But going from that harvest into the oak tree, okay. Just be gentle with yourself right now, folks. Soft. Hold on, let me turn off that light. Okay, let's turn this guy off. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, the light definitely agreed. Yeah, be gentle. Okay. Well. Okay, so let's put these. Definitely want to get a Kimmy K out next. The oracles. I like working with the oracles. Okay, Kim. Oh, you're gonna be way on the bottom of this box. Oh, this is the thing about packing. Oh, and I'm one of those Tetris packers, so I like to pack it just so that's all neat and tidy. But that being said, like I'm just pulling everything out at this point. I should have just kept it out. Should have known myself better. Oh, Kimmy K, you're gonna be way on the bottom. Oh, mamacita. Oh, jeez. Oh, mama. Sorry, guys. I thought Kimmy K was gonna be right here. Oh, no. Oh. Sugar plums. Okay. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Okay. 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 An extra celebration. The Tauruses, Kim K. All right. Let's have some coffee about it. Oh, thank you, coffee. You're too good to me. You're too good to me. Okay. All right. Grandma, I feel like you're around this evening. Okay, that's... Okay, it's too many. I want it to be clear. Okay, Grandma. Grandma, you were always a great comfort. So in this time, ooh, got apocalypsis again. Okay. So yeah, we definitely have some endings here. Okay, Grandma. Ooh, Venom. Okay, well, no wonder y'all need some comfort. There's some real shit going on here. Aww. But we have the healer and the crone. So it's like, yes. Are you going through a real absolute time? Yes. Oh, the Star of David. Okay, we got the crone. There's wisdom here, and there's healing, which is like so irritating when you're like being filleted alive, you know? It's like in those moments you're like, who gives a fuck? You just want to like start flipping tables to be like healing schmealing, you know? Fucking wisdom, fuck off. How many cards? Okay, 2 more. Oh, are we going for 7? I'm hearing 7. Okay. The king. Okay, no, wait. I want to do a shuffle. Okay, whoa, you're hopping. No. Okay. Grandma. Going 7 cards. So we need 3 more. Grandma. Oh, nice. The bridge. Exactly. This is what I mean about taking care of each other. This is the only way. This is what it is. This is the way through, guys. We have to extend our hands to one another. Like, we literally cannot get through this without one another. And just remember, if your life is easy right now, just take a hot second to be like, wow. Pick one example you see on the news to be like, if this happened to me right now, what hands would I want to be extended out to me to reach out and help me, or to give me hope, or to give me strength, or to see me? Do you know what I mean? Okay. Okay, so we need 2 more. Okay, Grandma Florine, give it to us. Oh, Grandma. Come here, you. Oh, Cinnamon. Shapeshifter. Yeah. And the kiss. Okay. The shapeshifter. Okay. Yes, babe. Okay. Apocalypsis. Let's do this. Here we go. Removing the veil of deception. Apocalypsis indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when 2 disparate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposing directions. The first is a lifting of the veil. This means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen, and unearthed. No matter how relieving it is to witness them come into the light, an element of despair and grief follows. The second dynamic is the regeneration that comes from the wreckage of the revealed truth. The old narrative breaks and a new story forms. Apocalypsis energy is similar to a forest fire's, devastation for the sake of regeneration. The veil lifts and we see who and what has been hiding. From the nakedness of the truth, a child is born. Have faith in the process. Hold on to your center. That is the only way. This card has a strong relationship to, is it Alethea? If both cards appear in one reading, you've got some real uncovering to do. All kinds of things will be revealed during a time of apocalypsis, from big global lies to little white ones that lace the bedroom sheets. Brace yourself for the horse of truth to storm your every field. I was thinking about this. Because this came up in another reading, and I love that line. Brace yourself for the horse of truth to storm your every field. Yeah, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to go back to that particular line and make a reading about it. And well, look who just popped up. Giddy up, horse of truth. Yeah, to storm your every field. Yeah, okay, guys. Hang in there, okay? Hang in there. If there's one thing I could just be, is just let me be a demonstration of, like, what it looks like when your life is kind of a 900 out of 10 terrible. You don't know your ass from shinola, but you keep showing up every day. And you keep choosing the things that you believe in, which is like love, integrity, honesty. Showing up, even when it doesn't make fucking sense. Venom. Old Venom teeth. What do you gotta say? Where are you in here? Old V-Town. Ven. Vision. Oh, there you are. 191. Okay. Here we go. The venom. The poison, the curse, the toxin. Much to our dismay, the venom is always lurking in the shadows in one form or another. Its toxic presence may be found in our relationships, thoughts, speech, or environment. Thankfully, the cycle of purification and detoxification comes so naturally that it is built into our every exhale. We breathe out carbon dioxide and the plants return it to us as oxygen. Archetypal venom is rarely remedied as easily, however, and it can come in potent forms and quantities that are deeply damaging to us and to the world. When the venom card appears, there is a harmful substance in our psychic realm that must be identified. Perhaps your words have a sting of poison about them. Perhaps a relationship is slowly draining your reserves. Acknowledgement is the first step. Change is the second. The remedy will reveal itself in time, and with it, forgiveness. When you harm another, you harm yourself. Keep in mind this goes for our earth as well, with cosmic consequences. Truth. The spreading of the venom is like a chain reaction. When we strike others, it is likely we have ourselves been struck. Break the cycle. Exactly. Okay. Crone Town. Let's do this. I love crows so much. I'm really drawn to that Star of David. Okay, the crone. 87. The witch, the old woman, the sage. And we do have sage here. Wisdom, purification, harmony. Yeah. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of Maiden Mother Crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life, and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty, and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. The crone is the master of letting go and residing in what is. She rejects nothing. The crone is often seen with the crow, smoke, night, the moon. Going back to this line, it stood out. The crone rejects nothing. So Spirit is wanting you to ask, make a list, and you can start with different, like, what parts of yourself, of self, do you reject? What parts of your story do you reject? What parts of the future that you're dreaming and kind of co-creating do you reject? What do you reject in others? I love a list, people. I do. Because also, I'm a real visual person. For me, when I can write things out and see it visually, it really does help me make sense of a mystery. And you might be the same. Okay. Healer. Ooh, 111. Yeah, okay. The lightworker, the gifted, the old soul. Though some claim the work of the healer as their gift and name it as their dharma, the force of this archetype is within everyone. It is our natural inclination to remember, to return to, and to reclaim that central and eternal life force from which we so easily drift away. In Sanskrit, the word avidya means forgetting. Avidya. Guys, I'm dyslexic at the best of days. I try to nail it. If I say it wrong, just forgive me. My trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. All right, means forgetting, and it is said that this is the source of all suffering and disease. The healer's mission then becomes to move through the comfort of forgetting, through the veils of ignorance and denial, to reveal the radiance that already exists. The healer approaches this in multiple ways, from multiple angles, knowing the cycle of healing is not linear. It is a multi-layered and circuitous process, always leading back to its own origin, much like the Ouroboros. The wounded healer is not someone who is wounded and is now healed. It is someone who continues to courageously break open the self and ego as a means for deep integration. Okay, yes. Oh, it's going to be a long one. Well, after I read this, I won't pull any more, but there's something here. The bridge. Okay. Bridges are built to connect two worlds. They create flow, allowing us to travel between realms, ideologies, personalities. This archetype is the gesture of acceptance, of saying yes, rather than withdrawing, separating, and saying no. When we cross a bridge to an unknown land, we are led magically into a new reality. We open up to otherness. Healing and communication are made possible. We enter a state of curiosity, wonder, and learning. The shaman, for example, creates the bridge between the everyday world and the sacred. This card asks us to study the connections between the seemingly disconnected parts of our life, i.e., relationships, ideologies, histories. Remember that a bridge can't be forced. It must be made with love, or its structure will not withstand the inevitable weather of life. Lie on the floor and listen to Bridge Over Troubled Water. Notice the ease and acceptance within the melody, the feeling of rising above the muck. Imagine building a bridge. Then imagine building a wall. Which energy is needed for the situation at hand? Which image softens and heals the heart? That's what I mean. I can just feel a lot of hearts. I'm hearing that Bruce Spring, everybody's got a hungry heart. Shapeshifter. 91. Okay. The trickster, the elusive, the formless. The shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is a side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision. Sorry, I get itchy sometimes when I'm reading. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. That doesn't apply. The ultimate shapeshifter works undercover in service of the greater good. The diminished shapeshifter becomes a people pleaser. Well, parent pleasers become people pleasers. Okay, so Spirit is having me focus this question. How many of you in your romantic pursuits shapeshift to become more like what you think your romantic person that you're pursuing would like? I used to date a few people like this. Every single person that they were interested in, it's like they would just alter their personality completely. I remember at one point, this woman, before we started dating, I didn't realize it was a thing, but looking back now, I see it. But at one point, they had a crush. They weren't even seeing this person. It was just a crush. So they had a crush on someone who was into downhill mountain bike racing. And it was like overnight, all of a sudden, this person who was not into, it's like, it wasn't just taking an interest, it was like their whole persona kind of changed and shifted. And you can do that with, slight, but there's a difference between altering yourself in the hopes of changing yourself to become the thing that you wants you back, versus you just being you and then just taking an interest, being like, oh, this person I have a crush on is into it and don't really know much about it, but like, I don't know, teach me a thing or two about it. Do you know what I mean? So there's something here about, that people pleasing and shape shifting. And it's about getting your needs met, but in a way that's more dysfunctional, I would say. Now, I say that kind of in the more purest of like what the word means, not like you're dysfunctional, but it is a dysfunctional way of being. Do you know what I mean? But without being like pointy fingers about it, but just being like, energies can go different ways, right? Like the evolved and kind of more unevolved. The shapeshifter energy can be a bit more elevated and evolved, or depending on where you're at with it, it can be a little bit devolved. So I would just just be mindful. Again, just take stock. Mindfulness is about just at least take stock of what's going on, what you have in house. Okay, let's get to the kiss. Yeah, smoochies. And see, with the bridge, it's underneath the bridge. I love this. With all of this, I just keep seeing a hand being extended. And again, holding hands. Because sometimes things aren't about words. It really is like it's literally a tenderness. Or if you've literally had to pick someone up sometimes, someone who's fallen, or, you help them up. Or someone who's scared, or they're unsure. So you just hold their hand. That looks like a new moon to me. Yeah, babe. Yeah, chicken baby. Chicken, do you have anything you want to say for the collective? 185. No? Okay. The kiss. The touch, the chemistry, the sex. Before a first kiss, the air is electrified. Yeah, it is. Smoochy electrified. Each breath is alive with possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging with other, of letting in what was moments ago separate to become one. It is risky but beautiful business. I love that line. Smoochies and love is beautiful business, and I'm here for it. These moments forever change us, and we move past the solitary self toward union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes non-human form, it may be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by cold chills and an awakening of the heart. Intimacy is multi-layered and requires our reflection. Revisit what you consider to be sensual, taboo, acceptable, shameful. Write down the story of your first kiss. What was changed in that moment? Okay, we're going back to this. Perhaps actually some of you, what you're going to experience is what I call stranger intimacy. So in my life, I've traveled a lot. And I love traveling, especially for things like what I call stranger intimacy. So a lot of times I can get slightly misanthropic. Not a ton, but enough to be like, and I'm an introvert, but enough to be like, oh, people sometimes. Again, just nothing crazy, but just enough to be like, there's a bit of truth there. But the great thing about traveling is that invariably when things go wrong and you're reliant on strangers to help you, you get this beautiful experience. And I call it stranger intimacy. And also because there's a freedom sometimes when you travel and you feel like you're never going to see someone again, you can just be really present and authentic in this way because you're like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to see this person again. I can just be really real and just share, and we're connecting. And so there was times in my life where I stayed at a lot of hostels, and I would always want to save the maximum amount of money. So I'd get the hostel room that wasn't just shared with two people. I'd do like the full dorm style and I just remember once listening to this fellow. He was in the bunk above me, and it was just the sound of his breathing, but it was like really comforting. And and I've had moments with strangers of helping and being helped, of someone extending a loving hand, a kind hand. I don't know how to describe it. I've always called it stranger intimacy, where it's just like really real, authentic, and beautiful. So I almost sense that for some of you, this is actually what's about to happen. And that's really required, is that, like, again, it's not about solutions, but it's about someone being able to be with you in a dark moment. And what Spirit is having, like, acknowledge is that it's this intimacy, this, stranger intimacy, when two strangers can connect through the heart. To be like, I don't know you, but I'm human enough to know that you're suffering or you're hurting, and I want to make that better for you in any way possible. Okay. Well, this is going to be, this is a long video, so I'm not going to keep it much further, but for all of you in your darkest moments right now, you're going to be okay. Even when it doesn't feel like it's okay, and even when it's not presenting like it's going to be okay, you will get through this. And it may not look like what you want, but like you will get through this. And you will always have trail angels. Even me, like I always have a trail. Everything in my life is a wing and a prayer. I am the king of 11th hour miracles, and I am the king. I will say this for Spirit. Spirit has always made sure I have trail angels that even when everything else has abandoned me, but like in a real fucking pinch, like real pinch town, like the trail angels have always appeared. And to be honest, stranger intimacy is the thing that's why I love traveling, because it really does allow me to feel good about humans and to remember that, like, a lot of people still remember how to give without it, like, that not everything is done out of sneakiness or, like, wanting something in return or, like, manipulation. And this is what I feel like we're returning back to. Everything right now feels very grassroots, and I just can't stress enough that, like, guys, all we have is each other, and we need each other, and we gotta show up for ourselves and for each other. And sometimes it's just the smallest thing. Hold open the door for someone that's right behind you, or, someone who's older, maybe has like different abilities, make eye contact and smile. If a little kid is waving, wave back. Just the littlest things. Just the littlest things. I still think about this guy in Edmonton over 20 years ago, easily 25 years ago. I can see the stretch of road that I was walking to go to work. I worked at this Italian restaurant. And this guy, I can see it. It's like late afternoon, perfectly sunny day. And this guy, there's a bus stop, and he's eating his McDonald's. And as I was passing him, he didn't miss a beat, but he just like held out his fries. It was really playful, really organic. Again, stranger intimacy. And he just like offered up a fry, but in this way that was like, again, perfect to the moment, wasn't contrived, really playful, really sweet, really human, really unexpected. I still think about that moment because it was so fucking perfect. And all he just did was like offered me a fry spontaneously. There's no reason to offer me a fry. Okay. On that note, collective world, be easy on your hearts. Be gentle, just like all those cards talked about. Be gentle. Keep yourself safe. Things that make you feel safe, You got this. Chicken baby. Yeah, she's sleeping, but she knows you got it, okay? All right. Good night. Stay blessed. Stay golden. It's going to be okay. Night, night.